Welcome to Armchair Anonymous. I'm Dan Shepard. I'm joined by Lily Padman.
Hi.
Her. Welcome to this episode of Armchair Anonymous.
Welcome.
It's great to have you with us for this. It really is. It helps since you were here for the recording of them as well, to bring the whole thing full circle. Yes, I'm talking to you. Yeah, I'm trying to eventize it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's like exciting you've stopped in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Maybe I should have told you what the bit was before.
Yeah, because I thought you were talking to the Armcherries.
Well, them too. I'm glad they've joined us. Today is Craigslist Debacles. And we've got some doozies for you, as you might expect.
Oh, yeah, there's some fun ones.
Craigslist was the Wild West when it first came out.
It was.
Man seeking woman, woman seeking man seeking man, women seeking women. Yeah. It's all in there.
Yeah.
Please enjoy Craigslist Debacles.
Hard times come and go. Good times, take them slow. My life, I had them both. Remember one thing, you gotta know, I'ma keep on shining.
Hello.
Hi. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Wonderful. We're calling you Michelle.
Yes.
Michelle, you're a musician or you are having sex with a musician?
Yes, it would be the second one. My boyfriend is a musician. The computer is actually on a keyboard right now.
We've got 4 or 5 axes leaning against the wall that he is regularly shredding, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, do you want to tell us where you're calling from?
So I'm in Cleveland, Ohio.
Wonderful. You know, my whole in-law family's from Cleveland.
Actually, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Kristen's both grandparents lived there, from there. Both parents from there, relocated to Detroit.
Yeah, I love it.
And you know what I'm going to ask you? How often are we at Cedar Point?
You know, I am not a huge ride person.
Okay.
I'm not a big thrill seeker, and I have like a lot of motion sickness stuff. So if it wasn't for that, I'd be about it.
Okay, it's not a great place for you.
No.
Okay, now, did your Craigslist debacle take place in Cleveland?
It actually takes place about an hour south of here. So to kind of set the tone for this, my town I grew up in is really close to like Amish country. So like very conservative, a lot of like conservative Christians. And my family reflects that. My parents are super sweet, religious people. They didn't allow any rated R movies in the house, no alcohol in the house, grew up very sheltered. So when this all took place, like neither I or my parents really knew the dangers of interacting with strangers on the internet.
You were a little naive to the worldly people?
Yes, a little naive. So this happened when my mom and I were working on buying my first car, right when I was out of high school and starting to commute to community college. We started to look online. I know very little about cars, but the guy I was seeing at the time was obsessed with his Honda Civic.
Great car.
Very trusted.
Didn't have a huge budget. I was just using some of my personal savings. So we went to look on Craigslist, found one that a guy had listed a couple of towns over. Great. My dad was working a lot, so my mom was like, I'll go with you. We'll go look at this car. So we got there and everything seemed normal. She had coordinated with him over the phone and everything. We test drove it. I was all on board. It was like a Honda Civic hybrid, which would be great for commuting. So I sat in our car and waited for her as she wrapped up with him, talking about next steps to buy it. She gets back in the car afterwards and she tells me what happened. She says there's an issue with the title. And so he is having us wait till tomorrow to come and get it. But I gave him a check for a deposit. I was like, okay. But then later that evening, she was like, you know, this seems a little sketchy because the listing said it had like a clean title, like there shouldn't be any issues. The next day, she let the guy know she was canceling the check and that we were going to not move forward with it. Well, the guy flipped out. He started calling her terrible names. He was like, I already cashed this check. You're going to overdraw my bank account. She's like, well, it's not my problem.
Yeah.
So he was freaking out. And I believe my mom just like ended up blocking him. And we thought that that was that. So we're sitting there late at night and her cell phone starts blowing up. And it's text after text after text, phone call after phone call. It's all from different numbers.
Ooh.
And there were dick pics.
Oh, boy.
And there was a bunch of sexual context to all of the voicemails and text messages.
Oh, boy.
My mom is like so shocked. Like we were both just like, I don't know what this is. What's going on? We realized that he had put her number on a personals ad on Craigslist.
Oh,
my God.
Oh, sneaky.
Oh, wow. That's a revenge for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We ended up finding the ad and it said her number. It said like a bunch of like sex acts she would do in the bedroom.
Oh my
preferences.
God.
Yeah. And so we tried to get the post taken down. We tried reaching out to the guy. We were having no luck. And my mom was just like, I just can't keep dealing with this. So she had to change her phone number.
Yeah. What else can you do? Oh my God.
Boy, it's interesting. And even in a small town, you put that kind of ad up and the customers come running.
They're everywhere.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so all the messages and stuff were all from different people.
Yeah. I mean, there'd probably be a couple from one person, but it was just number after number. So you can't block that because you're just going to continue getting different numbers reaching out.
Yes. Oh, my
That
Lord.
is
And we're
bonkers.
certain it was him. We just have a hunch it was him.
Had to have been.
We're pretty certain it was him. Yeah.
He was real upset. By the way, fuck him. If someone drives 2 hours to your house to look at a car, your title had better be in order.
Yeah.
What a dick
He was
move.
obviously fucked up.
Yeah, he's a vengeful man. I know that.
Yeah.
But you do wonder if there ever was a problem with the title or it was a scam.
Nuts.
Yeah, there is a little bit more to it. I called my mom to get some details, and she actually told me that the guy tried to friend her on Facebook a few years later.
Jesus.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
He's obsessed with her over this.
Yeah.
it's really weird. Yeah, they've gotten rid of personal ads since then, so that's good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, a lot of people are getting murdered.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, there was a lot of stories.
Really?
Yes, there's a lot of these hookup stories that ended in murder, and I think
God.
they didn't want the liability anymore.
Smartly so.
It does remind me of something I thought was really funny growing up. My friend Ken Kennedy, his dad was a big-time rascal. And when he was younger, when he would have enemies, he would put an ad in the Detroit paper, free Harley parts, work midnights, call late. Not only are they going to call in the middle of the night, it's people interested in free Harley parts. It's like kind of the perfect thing.
Wow.
Like the worst group of people and this is in the 70s when like Harleys weren't all that popular yet. It was.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible. Yeah, it was so unexpected, and I don't think my mom had ever gotten a dick pic before that. So.
What if she left her religion and your father behind? She was like, I'm awake now. Look at what's
Changed.
out there.
Changed woman.
Have you used Craigslist since?
I have. My sister bought a pig on Craigslist.
Oh my goodness.
Positive story. to
Miniature
even it
one,
out.
I assume?
No.
A full-blown pig.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a gift for someone, and they didn't want it, so we had to return it.
Oh,
Oh my God. You really have not had good luck on Craigslist.
No, I have not. But thank you so much for letting me tell this story.
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks
thanks
for
for telling
sharing
us,
it.
Michelle. Delightful to meet you.
Yeah, it's so nice to meet you both too. I just want to thank you both, how much work you do around like vulnerability around mental health and recovery and everything. I run a small nonprofit in the Cleveland area that works on like the front lines of the overdose crisis and trying to reduce overdose fatalities. And a big barrier always to the work that we do is stigma. So the more that people can be out in the platform that you all have and reducing stigma, the more it makes my work a little bit easier. So I wanted to say thank you for that.
Oh my goodness, we're
Amazing.
delighted and thank you.
yeah. Thank you for what you do.
Yeah, you just got a trunk full of Narcan.
Basically, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's wild here in LA. Parents are just having to get realistic and they're giving their kids Narcan and they're giving their kids fentanyl testing strips. It's interesting to watch everyone try to figure this out.
Yeah, we do distribution of those and trainings and everything. It's a wild world out there. This podcast also helps a little break for me from the day-to-day stresses, so that's nice as well.
Oh,
It's a
good.
dark undertaking. You've
Yeah,
Yes,
really
yeah,
impressive.
Yeah, it is. Well, Michelle, great meeting you, and thanks for doing that work.
Absolutely. Thank you for everything that you do. This was such a dream to talk with you both, so have an awesome rest of your evening.
Okay, you
You
too.
too. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Ready for Darian?
Yeah. Darian?
Hello. Yes.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good. I see that we share a red beard in common.
Yes. And this is all thanks to testosterone, man. I'm a trans guy and I've been on hormones, and this thing just...
Wow.
I had no idea there was red anywhere because I have brown hair, and then bam.
I feel like that's common.
I have blonde hair, red beard, brown eyebrows, and everything. I got all the colors. Calico.
Yeah, it's funny now because we adopted and my son has red hair. So when we are out in public, people think that he's mine because I have red hair there.
Of course. Now, you're injecting testosterone? Are we on the same cycle, you think?
I don't know. I do twice a month in the legs.
What do you do, 1 milliliter?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Same as you?
Virtually the same cycle.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so you have a crazy Craigslist debacle.
Yes, I do.
Oh, please
we
tell
can't
us.
wait.
This happened in 2012. My wife and I were dating for about a year, and we were living together in an apartment in Charlotte. Super broke. We both worked in a restaurant, and we had one vehicle. My goal was to save up some money to buy a used car for her. So I went to Craigslist to try to find some extra work in order to do this.
Okay, some supplemental income.
Right. This guy responded to me. He needed a part-time office assistant. He was an artist. And he traveled a lot between the US and some places in Europe. He needed help getting some information out to potential clients, as well as fielding some stuff from his current clients. So that was kind of what I signed up for.
Can I say already, seems a little rare that someone in Charlotte is an international art phenom. Right out of the gates, I just want to say it sounds already a little bit like a cover story, but please continue.
Well, yeah.
You want a car. You don't give a fuck.
I do nothing.
Right.
I was just like, okay. And I do nothing about art. I was just like, sure, whatever you need help with, I'll be happy to help you. So I talked to him on the phone a few times. We emailed back and forth. He basically told me that he was out of the country and that he was going to be back in a couple months, and we would meet then, but we would do this kind of trial basis thing until then. And he told me how much I was going to get paid. So I started doing some stuff for him, printed out a bunch of stuff, put together these packets, mailed them off, did all this stuff. His clients sent payment for his art to me. So I got these United States Postal Service money orders delivered to my door.
And they were in your name, not the artist's?
Yeah. He told me that he needed me to basically use some of the money to pay myself and to reimburse me. And then the rest of it I had to send to him through money packs that I got from Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I have these money orders. At this point, I still was a little naive, didn't realize that this might not be quite legit.
Yeah, on the up and up.
But I also went straight to my bank, gave them these checks, and they put them right in my bank.
They all cleared. And Darian, what kind of money are we talking about?
Yeah.
Is this thousands or is it hundreds?
I think the first set of checks was maybe 3 or 4, but it totaled around $2,000.
Okay.
So then I recouped the stuff that I'd paid in for my time, and then I sent him the rest of the money. My wife knows about what's going on, but she doesn't know the ulterior motive is I'm trying to buy her a car.
Yeah.
The next round of checks I get, it's the week of Christmas. So my ability to go to the bank was limited because I still had a job and I couldn't get there before they closed. So I sent him the $2,000 that I had in my savings. I had talked to him on the phone about it, and he was like, you can just pay yourself back.
Oh boy.
Maybe the day after Christmas, I go to deposit these next set of money orders. I don't know, maybe $3 or $4 grand. The clerk stops and she goes and walks away. And then she comes back with the manager and tells me that these money orders are fake.
And that the first ones were as well, yeah?
Right.
Yeah.
I felt like the world stopped spinning. I just felt sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
I didn't have any money. We were living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
So I left and I was like, what am I going to do? I had to close my bank account. I immediately went to the police basically the police department laughed at me. They were like, there's nothing we can really do. I sent them all the communication I had with this guy, the number, the email, all this stuff. And I tried to reach out to him, and he of course isn't answering. And now I'm in a real bind because now I'm negative money.
Yeah.
$4,000 or $5,000, I think is what it ended up being negative, and I didn't have. So I had to close my bank account so that my paycheck wouldn't be direct deposited, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. I got a call from the bank a couple days later, and they told me that I had 30 days to pay the money back, or they were going to have warrants issued for my arrest for bank fraud.
Sure.
Oh my God. The hits.
Called my parents, who do not have any money. And my mom's like, you need to call your dad. I didn't want to call my dad. I called my dad. He basically met me at the bank. I thought he was going to pay it, and I was going to owe him.
Yeah.
He basically went as emotional support while I begged the bank to give me the money to pay them back.
Yes.
So I got scammed on Craigslist.
Oh, big time.
Man,
oh my God.
So did you end up having to pay the money back to the bank?
Well, yeah. So we didn't get 2 cars until 3 years later, right before we got married.
Oh, you were trying so hard.
What did your wife say when you told her all this?
Oh, God.
She was really supportive.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
She didn't tell me that I was an idiot,
right.
which I appreciated, even though I felt like an idiot.
Of course.
Yeah.
When I told her I was going to be doing this, I was like, of all the stories that I would be telling, it's this one that I am the biggest loser of.
We've had episodes about people who've been conned, and I feel so bad for them. They're so embarrassed by it, even though
it's not their fault.
Yeah, it could happen to any of us. These people know how to execute it.
Ironically enough, a few years later, I responded to an ad on Craigslist and got a job. And that was my job that was legit for 5 years until I chose to step back from that to be a stay-at-home dad. So Craigslist isn't always...
Yeah, it's like Twitter.
Pros and cons.
But I definitely was more hesitant.
Yeah. I'm impressed you went back.
Yeah, you got back on that horse. Darren got back on that horse, and he got himself another job, and that one was legit. Wow. Oh, I'm so sorry. That breaks my heart that you were going. It's so stressful when you're broke. Oh, fuck.
I've definitely come a long way since then, but man, at that time I thought my life was over.
Yes.
I was I don't know what I'm going to do. I felt like such an idiot.
We think our life's over all the time.
We do.
Yeah. It's kind of like our thing to do is just think our life is completely over.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, Darian, great meeting you. Thanks so much for telling us that story.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great meeting both of you.
Tell your wife we say hi.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
What's up?
Wonderful.
Good.
Michael, what is that, a set of pearls behind you?
Yamaha.
Yamaha. Okay. I see you. Michael, where in the country are you?
I am just south of Seattle.
In Tacoma?
Very, very close, yeah.
Wonderful, beautiful country. How far are you from the Sound?
25 minutes or so. We're right on Lake Tapps.
Okay, wonderful. Michael, you have a crazy Craigslist story?
Oh, yes.
All right, let's hear it.
What year was this?
I pinned it at about 2010. But I was talking with my mom about it, who's also part of the story.
Oh,
wonderful.
She seems to think that it was a little earlier, like maybe 2007, 8, somewhere in there.
That'd be early Craigslist days.
Oh, yeah.
The Wild West of Craigslist.
I used to be a serial Craigslist surfer, probably spent a lot of time in the free section. I'd be sitting at work, I'd be bored, just kind of hanging out, kind of looking for deals, I guess.
Online shopping, in a way.
Yeah.
Right. So instead of going directly to Amazon, you might go check out Craigslist or OfferUp before you do Amazon.
Feel you.
I worked at UPS at the time, and I was, again, bored. And so I'm sitting there, and I open up Craigslist and end up finding myself in the free section. Kind of right on the top of the list was free canoe. In all caps.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me, dude? I'm in Seattle.
Yes.
I had been already kind of starting to get interested in getting a kayak. But at the time, I was just out of college, so I wasn't making a lot of money. And kayaks are like $1,500 or $2,000, whatever. And so I see this free canoe. I'm like, dude, that is awesome. You have to be quick with the free shit because right away, somebody else is going to snap it up. It's just kind of like that sort of environment. You got to be a shark, right? Down at the bottom, it's something like first come, first serve, which means there's no way to gain an edge with the seller or whoever's getting rid of this thing. And then I noticed that it's up in Bothell, which is kind of north of Seattle, but it's right by my folks' house. Maybe they can help me out. I called my mom and I was like, all right, dude, here's the situation. And so I explained the situation. I'm like, dude, this is a time-sensitive issue. We got to get this thing sorted out right away. It's right by your guys' house, dude. Grab the truck.
Get over there, Mom. This sounds like something you would have your mom do, Monica.
It really does. And she would do it.
Mom, go now. Someone else is driving there now. Faster.
But I'm working. I don't care.
Fucking quit your job.
She's like, yeah, we'll get your dad together here and we'll go pick this thing up. I think it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that, maybe 3. I got a few more hours of work, and then I get home, and Jamie, my wife, and I lived with also a best friend of mine. You know, I'm just regaling them about this free canoe. Maybe another hour or 2 go by. You know, my phone starts ringing. I see it's my mom calling. So I pick up the phone, like, hey, dude, what's up? I call my mom, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
Immediately, I can hear it in her voice that something is just like 100% wrong. Her voice is like shaking. She's like, Michael, what did that ad say? I'm like, what's going on? Is there a problem? Yes, he won't let us go.
What?
He's got your dad at gunpoint.
No.
Oh.
I'm like, holy shit, dude. All this stuff is just flying through my head. I am literally like outside my body at this point.
Yes, you've gotten your parents kidnapped.
I'm trying to get more information from her about what's going on. She's like, he's got your dad at gunpoint and he walked him around to the back of the truck. He's got me locked in the front of the truck.
What the hell?
This is so heavy on me right now. Like, I'm crazy.
We're like, I gotta call 911.
I'm still trying to kind of figure out what's going on. Like, still gathering information, seeing what I can get out of her. Because I'm trying to get his mental state. Like, is this guy crazy or what? So she's kind of explaining some things. No, he's got us locked in the truck. He had them both captured in the truck and then got my dad out and brought him around the back of the truck is how I understand it. And then, you know, had him at gunpoint while my dad wrote down the license plate number. And then I guess he put my dad back in the truck and went inside the house. And so my mom is on the phone with me for part of this. And I guess he goes to call the cops. So from his side of things, he's like, somebody's trying to steal my shit.
Oh.
He comes back out. He's got my dad's truck keys, right? So they can't go anywhere. They're just kind of locked in the truck. At the same time, my mom, she had gotten off the phone with me and called the police.
They're both calling the police.
Oh my God.
So a couple minutes later, all these cops come flying down the drive. They open their car and they draw weapons from a couple different police cars, and they're like guarding themselves with their doors open, right? You know the drill, Dax, from your time on Chips, right?
That's right. That's right. I know this formation.
So the cops kind of calmed the situation down.
Well, it sounds like first they rev it the fuck up, and then they calm it down.
Right. A couple of the cops went to console my folks. A couple of the cops went over to console this guy, and they kind of separated them. I guess the long and the short of it, what happened was a neighbor, a couple doors down,
pissed
or whatever,
at this guy.
Exactly right.
And to fuck with him, said, "Come take my canoe."
Yeah.
Oh my God. So many Craigslist shenanigans.
Good prank, yeah.
Dude, it was just crazy. Yeah, so I guess the neighbor had written a couple of different ads. Come take my tools. Come take my canoe. You know, all the shit that was sitting outside this guy's house that they could see.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Wow.
Oh boy. Boy, oh boy. It's rare that, the cops arrive at a scene where everyone's a victim.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone present is a victim. This guy just had his canoe stolen. These people have been abducted.
Oh, wow.
Wowzers. Michael.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's powerful. And there's maybe an allegory in there too about free shit. I don't know. It feels like there's
free.
One sitting there. Yes,
that's the one.
Maybe that's the allegory.
Needless to say, that was the end of my Craigslist career, certainly for free shit. Now, I will say that I still look at OfferUp for shit that I need, here and there, but I'm certainly not going to the free section. There's just no value in it anymore for me.
Sure. Yeah, stakes are too high.
The livelihoods of your parents.
Yes.
Obviously, they were scared shitless, both of them, because they've never been held at gunpoint before or after that event. But they bought me a little pewter canoe ornament, almost like a tree ornament.
Yeah.
To commemorate the situation.
Wow.
Oh my God, that's great.
So I came into this through my wife is a absolute super fan.
Yeah, go grab her.
Yeah, get her in here.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Hi. What's your name?
I'm Jamie, and this is my son, Vaughn.
Hi, Vaughn. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, guys.
So he actually, just by coincidence, got to watch Zathura for the first time over the weekend.
That's
Do you recognize me?
And then when my husband said that he had heard back from you guys about doing this recording, I was like, guess who Dad is having an interview with on Tuesday? He's talking to the astronaut. And he goes, nuh-uh. And I was like, yeah. Oh my God, I love listening to you guys. You're the best.
Thank you. I do the exact same thing with our kids. I'm like trying to find something they care about within the thing I'm wanting them to care about.
Yeah.
Yes. I know you won't care about him, but let's see. Oh, you like Zathura.
Yeah.
Well, great hearing from Michael. What an incredible story.
Yeah, we had been dating maybe like less than a year when that whole thing happened. And obviously I heard about it like after the fact because this was like before iPhones. So he couldn't like look up the Craigslist ad on the fly when his mom's telling him this crazy story, but it's always been so nuts. So when I heard you guys have this prompt, he was actually in Israel for work. I heard the prompt at the end of whichever episode it was recently. And I was like, babe, you have to write in. Like, I promise you, nobody has that story.
Yeah. That was great.
It was wonderful. I did not know how I was going to resolve.
Same.
I'm like, what, a psychopath put an ad for a free canoe? Oh, duh. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I feel like I remember them saying something about how even they had a detective that was looking up the IP address to see like where it had originated. And that's how we ended up finding out.
Pissed off
neighbor.
Yeah. Oh my God, so great.
You guys are just the best.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Wonderful meeting you.
Yeah, you too. Have a great night, you guys.
Okay, bye-bye.
Oh, so funny.
Oh
wow.
Man.
Okay.
All right, Drew.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And I get to see the new chair.
Oh, I know you're one of very few.
One of the first.
Go ahead, be brutally honest.
I don't mind. I mean, it does give grandma vibes, but I think it's fine. It is humongous. That is the largest chair on earth.
It's comically big,
It's a good size for a big boy.
Room for me to grow.
That's right.
Always want to grow.
That's metaphorical.
Yes.
Monica, did you inherit the other one?
Yeah, it got passed down. Really, I'm afraid to get rid of this one.
Superstitious.
Like juju-wise.
Yeah.
So it's mine now.
Where are you at?
I'm in the Chicago suburbs. I'm in Naperville, not far from Bolingbrook, where you spent some time.
I know. What's his ass is from Naperville?
Oh, Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, yes. They ran some headlines saying, like, Bob Odenkirk wanted to get out of Naperville as a teenager. And it's like, yeah, everyone does.
I know people were like, their feelings were really hurt in Naperville.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to get out of everywhere. That's the kind of human nature.
I think that's just what teenagers do, right?
Yes. Yeah. Drew, you had a crazy Craigslist experience.
I did. So this was about 12 years ago. I was 2 years out of college. So right after college, I signed up for a teaching program where I had to commit 2 years of teaching. I got sent to rural South Carolina.
Oh, wow.
And I was dating my college boyfriend who did not go to rural South Carolina. Do not blame him for that.
Really quick, were you close to this Murdaugh family?
Actually, yes.
You were?
I didn't know any of these people, but they were just a couple hours from where I was, just kind of like right smack dab in the middle of the state. So it felt very similar. Watching that documentary was like, ooh, I'm taken right back to that experience.
I honestly didn't really think in this day and age that was still happening.
Yep.
I had no idea like there was family-run towns still.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. The town I was in was quite family-run.
Wow.
Wowie, wow.
Wow.
It felt more of a study abroad experience than anything else. But it was great. I loved it. South Carolina is wonderful. But so we were dating long distance, and like shockingly, a couple 23-year-olds, it just didn't really go super well.
Yeah.
But I had already taken a job in New York City to teach. And so I really wanted to do that. It's a really cool school. I didn't want to back out of that commitment I made. We had already picked out an apartment together. So just like things were figured out. And I kind of was just on a pathway to move up to New York. Even though by the time the school year was ending, I don't think we'd really talked for like a couple weeks. So It's one of those things where it's like, we both kind of know this probably is not going to go well, but like, what else am I going to do? So I sell my car in South Carolina for a couple $1,000s. I have no money. I was making $27,000 as a teacher in South Carolina. So I have like $5 in the bank. Basically take the money I got from selling my car. My mom and I rent a U-Haul and drive it up to New York City. Driving a U-Haul through Manhattan was a harrowing experience.
Never.
Oh, yeah.
No, thank you.
I don't know how we survived that.
That could be its own prompt.
Yeah.
Tell us about the time you drove in New York City.
Through Manhattan.
Ugh.
Exactly. But we get to the apartment. It's in the West Village. So these tiny little streets.
Bethune?
What's Bethune?
Bassoon?
Bethune is one of those little side streets in West Village that we rented on.
Yep, it was a Waverly place.
Ooh,
that's literally
very famous.
3 blocks away, yeah.
Yep. So I get my stuff up in the apartment. He was at work because I have the summer off for teaching. So I kind of just came in the middle of the day and say goodbye to my mom. And the door clicks and I realize I got to go. I don't want to do this. This is going to get dragged out so long. We need to just cut it.
Yeah. I don't want to start this experience with this.
Exactly. And just like, I have nothing to do all summer. He's at work. I got some time to get this figured out. And if I don't do it now, the school year is going to start. And then I definitely won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
So pretty much the next day, we just sort of call it and I end the relationship. And shockingly, he's like, I don't really want you in this apartment very much longer then.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really think through. So I realized, I really got to get out of here. All my stuff is still in boxes. So I find a short-term storage unit where I can throw some stuff for a couple months. I only have about 8 weeks until the school year begins. So I only have a little bit of time to figure stuff out. For even like a short-term storage unit, that's kind of a good amount of what I have in my checking account. So I need to find movers because there's no way I'm doing another U-Haul through Manhattan. What do you do when you have no money and need services is Craigslist.
There we go. There it is.
So I started at fairly reputable places that had business names.
Yeah.
But they really need advance notice. They're like, we can be here next week. I'm like, no, I really need this like today.
Yeah.
I gotta go. And very quickly, we lose the business names, and it's just like a guy's cell phone number.
Yeah, first and last name, then just first name.
Exactly. We are at a first name basis with like an area code not in the state. There's a lot of red flags immediately. Call the guy, and I was like, I just need 10 boxes moved from this apartment to the short-term storage unit. It's not even that far. It'll only take like 2 hours of your time. And he's like, no problem, we'll be right there. So not a good sign looking back. They pull up in like a truly just unmarked white van, like may have been stolen. I don't even know if there's license plates on it. There's no name. But I'm like, yeah, sure, absolutely, come in my apartment.
Yeah. Come on in.
So he gets in and says, because sometimes people kind of try to skirt out on payment at the end. We really prefer payment up front. Mm-hmm. Which I'm like, yeah, totally. I'm from the Midwest. I'm just like, absolutely, that makes sense.
I'm so sorry that's happened to you.
Exactly. How much? And he's like, $400. I'm like, cool. And I just willingly hand over $400 to this strange man in my apartment.
Yeah.
And I also realized, wow, I'm just one person. So I should probably stay in the apartment as they're moving. Because, it's one of those where like the door locks behind you and all this stuff. So it's like, well, I got to stay here. I don't even think about the fact that I'm not following them out of this apartment.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So about an hour goes by, all the boxes are down, and I say, all right, let me just do like a quick walkthrough, just make sure I have everything, leave the key. I'm sure I wrote some like sad little note or something.
Sure. You don't know what just walked out of your life, even though I instigated this. You just lost the best thing that ever happened to you.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're mad.
Yeah, you're in love with him.
This is your loss, but I dumped you. I don't know, like 10 minutes go by, I walk out, and like very quickly I start to see my boxes. And they are just everywhere. They're all over the sidewalk, the street. The van is clearly gone.
Yeah, they just dumped them. I'm surprised they even went through with all the dumping it on the sidewalk. I would imagine after one trip,
why wouldn't they just steal your stuff?
Well, I didn't have a lot of value. Again, like very poor teacher.
Right.
But I had a TV, I had a computer. My mom had gotten me this nice DSLR Nikon camera. That was probably like the most expensive thing of all of that. All that was gone. Luckily, I didn't have any like jewelry.
So they did take some of it.
Oh, yeah. They like looked and found anything that could be of value.
So robbed you and con. Yeah. Wow. So that's about as good as it can go for them, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering if normally they just want to steal people's shit. And it's like, oh, no, then they figured out, oh, that's smart. We get the money up front. Mm-hmm. Then is it about the money or the shit?
Well, they decide based on the person. Yeah. How much they can get away with.
I could not have had just like a larger target on me. Of like, I'm 2 days into living in New York City. I'm like little Midwestern. I just broke up with someone. I don't know anyone in the city, so I'm just panicked. And like they did a great job. I can only blame myself. Honestly, like tremendous start to finish from them. But so now all my shit is just everywhere. And I'm trying to grow like 8 more arms and just like put my body on top of my Forever 21 shirts that I have from college still. And I just start obviously crying. I'm just like bawling. I don't know what to do. So then I decide the next best move is calling the police, which is pretty embarrassing looking back. I just don't know what to do.
No, I would totally do that. Or the hospital.
Well, to me, it's another layer of the naivete.
Really?
Yeah.
But you have to tell people you got stolen
No, they're not
from.
gonna. They can't really do anything.
But you need to tell them still.
Just in case. All it is the hour out of their day where they got to write a report about this thing, and nothing's ever going to be done. So I can't see why that's a defendable use of their time.
It's definitely not. But they came, basically ran down the story of like, so you called this guy. Yes. You didn't have a company name. No. You didn't have their name. No. Of course, the number I had called is now disconnected.
Burner phone.
Already, wow.
Oh, wow.
They knew what they were doing.
They really did. And the cop basically, by the end of me telling the story, is just cackling and laughing and basically just ends it with like, well, welcome to New York. Good luck. And just takes off on his merry way. As honestly, he should have. So I learned my lesson.
Well, really quick, what did you do then? How did you get the remainder of your shit to the storage unit?
Yeah, so I just schlepped everything back up the stairs as best I could. Had to spend like one more very uncomfortable night in the apartment and then just rented a car and just like made a couple trips myself to the storage unit. I actually really didn't love my time in New York.
I was just going to say, you survived this.
I did. Yeah. I found an apartment with also strangers who didn't want to rob me and kill me.
Yeah.
That were lovely. And now, 12 years later, I'm married to my best friend from that teaching program.
Oh, that's nice.
So, you know, it all came full circle.
It all came out in the wash.
Well, I'm glad they didn't murder you. You know, honestly, that was probably on their list of options.
A couple apartment showings that I went to that it felt like it was a murder apartment.
Yeah.
We danced around to all of these things in the first couple of months of New York living.
A part of me goes to, there was 2 guys?
2 guys.
That's a lot of effort. And breaking the law and placing ads and having burner phones, all to go get $400.
Well, and they'll sell the TV and the computer and those things.
Maybe steal a couple $100. Still, it's a lot of work and effort and sophistication for not a ton of pay. They could probably just have normal jobs and make more money with that creativity.
That's true.
When we tell the movie version of their lives as criminals, we can't have the scene where they go one last score. So we can get out of this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because we'll go like, what? That's $400?
Yeah, not enough.
Not even like a quarter of rent in New York City. Like, that's not going very far.
No.
Yeah. Wow.
That scene's not going to be in the movie. It just
can't.
It just can't be. It cannot be. Drew, what a great story. I mean, I'm sorry. Your spirit almost got extinguished. And it didn't. That could have really... Some people would have called mom and dad and just been like, get me the fuck out of here. You're right. I'm wrong.
Good for you.
But stuck with it. I just want to say, too, I found Armchair. I know everyone kind of at the end like says, this is why I love your show. But I found Armchair when I had my first baby and I needed something to do in the middle of the night when I was up all night. And a friend suggested, this was 4 years ago. And because it was so long, it would get me through a full night of being up with the baby and kind of kept me sane through those first few crazy months.
You know what that means, nice. Drew? We will be forever linked to one of the most joyous periods of your life in a decade, the way music can. Yeah, probably associated that whole time. That's very special.
Absolutely. And I just had our second. And so now you guys have so many more shows. So it's like, it's great. It's so much entertainment at 3 in the morning.
We'll try to keep you fertile for another
That's
5.
Right.
Yeah,
thank you.
Well, great meeting you. And thank you. That's so lovely to hear. How wonderful were the soundtrack of that. I like that.
Me too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, man. These cherries are lovely.
They're lovely. That was fun.
Lovely cherries.
Do you have any
I don't
stories?
like when the world's taking advantage of our cherries.
Me either.
No, I feel protective.
Do you have any Craigslist stories?
Wow, we might have found the one thing I don't have a story about. This is a real...
I would not expect you to.
Have a story about Craigslist?
Yeah, because you are primed to not get taken advantage of. Like you're aware, hyper aware.
No, I do have a Craigslist story, but it's super positive. The one thing I sold on Craigslist was my Harley Davidson, my 2000 Ultra Classic Electric Light. And I had it at that point for, I don't know, maybe 15 years or something. And I just never wrote it. And I decide, okay, I'm going to sell it. So I've never ran an ad. Someone responds, great, come to the house. They don't call, or maybe I miss it and they just let themselves in. And then all of a sudden Kristen's like, wow, who's that huge dude in the backyard? And I look out in the driveway and there's a dude in the garage.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's the Craigslist guy. So I'm now walking out. And yes, because of me, I'm like, this dude's humongous. Like there's a fucking big man at my house. Like this is going to be potentially a hell of a fight.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm talking to him. Hey, what's going on? Where you live? And he's like, I live on Crenshaw. I'm down in South Central. And I was like, oh, cool. And he said, but I work up in Malibu. I got a long drive and I really want a motorcycle. And I said, oh, where do you work in Malibu? And he's like, oh, this place called, it was either Passages or Promises. It was a treatment center.
Oh.
I go, oh, yeah, I know it well. The treatment center. And he looks at me and he goes, yeah, bro, you friend of Bill's? And I'm like, yeah.
Oh.
We immediately hugged.
Oh.
Went straight to a hug.
That's so sweet.
And we started talking about how much time we have and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, well, look, I love it. I just got to run up to the bank and get the extra 2,000. He had brought I can't even remember. Well, I think it was maybe I wanted 8 and he had brought 6. And I go, you know what, man?
Yeah.
you can have it. Go crazy. So that was a Craigslist story that was really heartwarming and wonderful. And
I wish
experience.
He had called.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
What if somehow I scammed him in the story? Dude acted like he's sober. I should all these red flags.
Oh, that's really sweet. I like that.
All right. Love you. That was fun.
Yeah.
As always.
Do you want to sing a tune or something? We don't have a theme song.
Oh. Okay, great.
We don't have a theme song for this new show, so here I go. We're gonna ask some random questions, and with the help of Armcherries, we'll get some suggestions. On the fly rhyme dish, enjoy.